the Mainstays yarn today, and this is the Walmart brand that I used for my ribbing stitch. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to create a slip knot as I usually do when I first start. And to create a slip knot, I'm going to twist over once, twice. Here's my working string right in through here. I'm going to pull through the loop my working string. And it should look just like this. Baby blankets are a lot smaller, but I like to make them just a little bit bigger so that the baby can lay, they can use it as a throw and the baby can lay on it. The size of the loop is entirely up to you, whether you want your stitches really tight or whether you want them bigger. I like them a little bit bigger, so I use about, I would say about 2 inches diameter of the loop. I'm going to create a chain, and the way that I create a chain is I slip the working string through and I just keep creating my chain. So I'm going to create a chain of 19. You can go on ahead and... Okay, so once you have created your chain, I had said to stitch 19, I stitched 20, and this 20 right here is going to come down just like this because this is going to be your first stitch to block off for the rest. So I'm going to pull this down right here, very easy, and I am going to use all of my bottom stitches. So if you take a look at all of my bottom stitches, those are all of the stitches that I will be going into. I'm going to go into my next stitch, so leave this alone. It's gonna move off to a side, that's perfectly fine, leave it alone. I'm gonna move into my bottom stitch, and I'm going to go under and pull through. I'm gonna do that until I get to the very end. So I'm gonna go under and pull through. Look at my bottom stitch. I'm gonna go under and pull through, creating loops that are just about the same size. Going under and pull through. I'm going to go under this stitch, and when you go under, that is called a knitting stitch. I want to make sure that my working yarn is moved to the direction that I am going to be moving in. Going to go under and move this down a little so you can see. I'm going under on this one. Now this next stitch that I'm going to create right here is going to be a purling stitch. And a purling stitch, you go over and pull through. And then under and pull through, and over and pull through. Under and pull through, over and pull through. And that is the pattern. You're just going to go under, go over, go under, go over. You can identify the purling stitch by this band that is on it. Regular knitting stitch is just going to be a loop like this, and the purling stitch will have a band. Okay, so I'm right back at the end, and as you can see, I moved my yarn this way, and I ended in a purling stitch because the band is right on the top. so since I ended in that purling stitch, I am going to create a knitting stitch into that purling stitch. So since it is over, I'm going to go under. And this right here is my knitting stitch, so I'm going to go over. Under, so I'm doing the complete opposite of the row before. So if it is a knitting stitch, I am doing a purling stitch. And if it is a purling stitch, I am doing a knitting stitch. And I'm just going over and under, over and under. And that is pretty much all there is to, this seed stitch. Okay, so I am right back to the other side. And again, this is my purling stitch, and I can identify that by the band that is right here. So I'm going to turn it into a knitting stitch. So I'm going to go under. Once again, go over, go under, go over. So super easy. Just over, under, over, under. Under. You will eventually run out of yarn. Just thread your needle and get your other piece of yarn and just mesh it together and hand stitch. Okay, so now I am at the end and I cut this off, so I'm going to pull this out just a little bit. I'm going to intertwine, so I have these two. I'm going to intertwine so that I have one. I'm going to get the two, intertwine. So I'm going to pull it through this loop so that I have one. Take a look, I have the two loops right here. I'm going to get this loop and pull it through so that I have one. I have these two, I'm going to pull it through just like this so that I have one. And I'm just going to keep doing that as I move along through, and I'm going to move my camera here in just a little bit so you can see how it starts to stitch off. So as you can see, it starts to stitch off, and it's going to look just like the first part of it. Okay, so when we are all done, we're going to stitch all four sides, and you want to move this over just like that. You want to make sure that it looks just like the side. And you want to stitch, hand stitch with a double on all four sides. Okay, so now I am done. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it one more time. This is a baby shower blanket. So I got this ribbon. And I'm going to place it under.